Good evening and thank you for joining us live on KCEN, and for those streaming on 6 Plus, I'm Adriana Alexander.
And I'm Lindsay Lippman. Thanks for staying up with us tonight. Texans, of course, are passionate about sports, but if the fans get out of hand, a new law can mean one strike and you're out.
We went in depth on what Senate Bill 2929 means for you
and how it can affect more than just sports.
When parents become a problem, it can spill out of the stands and into the hands of law enforcement.
The fun part of going to a baseball game or a basketball game is to kind of razz the referee some, but we're kind of getting to the point now where it's turning from just razzing them to confronting them in the parking lot or coming onto the field or coming onto the court and actually trying to physically assault them. And there's absolutely no excuse for that, and it's definitely something we're not going to put up with in Clifton.
This incident at a Clifton basketball game ended up in another type of court. As police chief and a youth sports official, Chris Blanton says there's already a shortage of referees.
We don't have enough umpires to cover all games, and I know basketball and football, they're in the same boat, and it's because of the abuse that they put up with from fans over most of the time their judgment calls. The fact that fans, they act like they can't understand that or don't want to, it's extremely frustrating and aggravating.
With the new one strike rule, there's a zero tolerance policy for bad behavior in the stands. Officials don't have to give a warning. There's immediate ejection authority and no appeal process. Salado dad and referee Richard Bowles says it's a step in the right direction.
It allows us to maybe control the fan base a little bit more, where in the past we had very little control or say over the fan base. Now, if we have fans that get to the point where they really disrupt the game, we have the bandwidth without any okays from anybody. We just say this fan needs to go, and then the fan is obviously escorted out of the stadium.
If a school gets 3 strikes, they could face the possibility of no longer having officials assigned to games. And Temple ISD Athletic Director Steve Prentice says the consequences for parents are strict too.
It can carry on to every event on campus. You make a mistake and lose your temper on that at a football game, you might not get to come to graduation. And so we remind them of that this carries over for all events, not just the sporting event.
Temple and other Central Texas schools have been ramping up awareness efforts to keep the fans friendly. Recently, UIL commended Temple on its good sportsmanship.
Lots of times we only hear the negative, so anytime we get positive stories about us early is exciting. We have passionate fans here, which is good. I'd rather be with a fan base that's passionate and wants to be successful than one that's apathetic and doesn't really matter. So you take the good and the bad with that. Something we're going to do, we're going to focus on every game. It's not something we just give a little lip service to at the beginning of the season and move on.
Now, before the law was passed, an official would have to give a warning to a rowdy fan and then continue to observe the behavior before they could be ejected. This applies to any school district or UIL sanctioned athletic event.